If you have 5 minutes, I'm going to show how you can recreate this in Photoshop. The first thing you're going to want to do is load your player pictures onto the canvas. And as you can see right here, I already have mine cropped out and cut out. And if you don't know how to do that, you can look at some of my previous videos where I go a little bit more in detail on how to do that. But right here, I just wanted to kind of make these two pictures blend together with the one where he's just where it's just his helmet, and then this one right here where he hit this like pose after he scored a touchdown, and I thought it looked kind of cool. So I just wanted to try to blend those together as much as I could. And I'm just using the brush tool, as you can see, to blend it. And then I created a layer mask on the number 29, which is his jersey number. I just created a layer mask so that I could use the brush tool to erase some of the number so that it looks like the player is, like part of his arm is over the number. And there's other ways you can do it, but I just found that to be the quickest. And then I added a picture of part of the stadium. And then I created a layer mask on that and then went back to the brush tool so that I could try to make it look like it's blending in into the middle of the graphic and not just a square picture. And you might have to lower the opacity a little bit to what looks good. And then right here, I went and added a picture of the stadium, and then I lowered the opacity way down to like 3 or 4. And it's all about what you think looks good to try to make it blend as well as possible. And then right here, I wanted to add some color into the number 29, so it's not just a plain white. So I created another layer above the number, as you can see on the bottom right part of the screen. And then I went over to the gradient tool, and I just selected the color on the Mizzou jersey and then swiped up into the 29, or like under the 29, using the gradient tool. And then it will put that color just inside of the number. Oh yeah, and then whenever you put the layer above the number 29, you have to create a clipping mask so that it only affects the number. And you do that just by right-clicking and create clipping mask. And then I wanted to add some noise inside the number, so I just went up to filter and then noise, and then I added what I thought looked good. And then right here, as you can see, I added some logos in, and then I added the signature of his last name. And then right here, I just wanted to add some effects into the logos. And you do that just by going down to the bottom right and then clicking the FX right here. And then I usually add some drop shadow, and then the very top option right here. And I just like to mess with the bar and then slide it to left or right to see what looks good. The next thing I did right here was add a camera raw filter to the player picture right here. And the first thing I did was just increase the exposure a little bit, which makes it brighter. And then sometimes I like to put the blacks down a little bit just to enhance the jersey if it's black. And then I usually add texture and clarity to most of the graphics just to, once again, enhance like the main colors on the graphic. And then I usually put a little bit of sharpening. And those are the main things that I use for most of the camera raw filters that I put on. But there are some exceptions, like some are different. And then right here, I pretty much did the same thing, but I added some vibrance back in. And then after doing that, I wanted to add some shadows underneath the player picture, or the picture of the player where his full body is showing right here. And you do that just by going over to the brush tool and then changing the size of the brush to like a oval shape, kind of like this. And then just place it underneath the feet of the player, and then make sure the layer obviously is underneath the picture of the player right here, so that it looks like the shadows are underneath his feet. And I've seen shadows look totally different in pictures that are pretty similar. So don't get too caught up on how the shadow looks, because it can look good in many different ways. And then the last thing I did was just lower the opacity on the shadow, and then add some noise in, and it makes the shadow look a little more realistic. And after I added the shadows in, here's the final result. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. And if you want more videos like this, please drop a comment and let me know. Thank you.